In this lesson, we're going to start working with something called volume light. And what volume light does is it simulates the dust and particles in the air that we would see when an intense light was shined through it. So to get the illusion, we have a room here, standard walls, hole in the walls for a window. I got a standard spotlight coming down here, shining in the room, and an omni that's going to illuminate the room to simulate the bouncing of light. Now, in order to do this, I'm going to go ahead and do a render, and you'll notice that the physical light does come to the window, and it leaves the illusion like the sun is coming through, and then of course the omni is lighting the room. And that might be great. You might be happy with that. The next step we're going to do is add volume light, which is going to appear like there's dust particles in the air, and that the light rays are real intense. To do that, we need to go into rendering, environment. We've seen this before. This is where we've actually changed the background color. But down here we see the word atmosphere, and we're going to work here for the next few lessons. We have the word effects, and it's blank. We're going to go ahead and add an effect. And we have fire, fog, volume fog, and volume light. We will begin with volume light. Hit OK. Now, like every other command that we've used here in Max, once you open up a command, you get a series of parameters in order to adjust that effect. Well, we immediately can jump back out here into our viewport so we can see our spotlight over here in the left frame, left viewport. This is our spotlight coming through the window. I'm going to hit Pick Light, and we're going to select the actual spotlight. That's going to apply volume light to the spotlight. Don't use it on the omni. The omni is just simulating the bouncing light. We want the light rays coming from the actual window frame. Now, before I change any other parameters, let's go back into our perspective view and do a render. And what you're going to see now is that we have this volume light coming through the window, almost like light beams, light rays, showing a very intense light. Now, of course, it's bright white, and it's very thick. It almost looks like the alien abduction type effect, and you may want that. But let's go ahead and make this a little bit more realistic. When we look through a dusty room in the middle of the day, we're going to see two different things. The first is the light is going to be a little bit more yellow. So I'm going to change my fog to reflect a little bit of yellowish tint there. And the second thing I'm going to do is change my density. I'm going to turn that down to about 2. This may vary with your scene or depending on your effect. But I'm going to do a quick render. And now what I'm starting to get is it's looking a little bit more realistic, that the light is shining through. It is bright. There are light rays there. Now, there are other parameters here that we can adjust. And of course, we've seen the word noise before. Noise being a modifier as well as a texture. Now it's going to be a way to manipulate volume light. So I'm going to make my light a little brighter yellow, just for that. I'm actually going to up the intensity a little bit too. But now with noise turned on, with regular noise, and amount 1, we'll do a render, and we'll see that now the light rays are broken up with noise. That there is more of a cloudy, dusty look as opposed to a straight beam of light. Now, we can also make adjustments to the different types of noise. For instance, if I go to turbulence, if you remember working with this type of modifier before, it's going to add more detail to that. That doesn't look very realistic for this particular scene, but this effect would work great if you need a cloudy look with your logo or maybe around your robot. But for the walkthrough project, your best bet is to go back in and remove the noise and just try something on lines of a nice low density, little bit of yellow tint coming from that window, simulating the skylight. You can also use this for other things such as spotlights on a car, driving at night, or lamps around your room. Maybe you want to show different various lamps to really show that the light is on and that they're actually working. Okay, so that concludes volume light. In our next lesson, we will start looking at the different variations in fog,